Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio.
And for our last Feminist Around the World for Black History Month, we are returning to the U.S. With someone a lot of y'all are probably familiar with, but unfortunately for me, I was not, and I feel like an ignorant jerk. And so therefore, we must take the time to give her her flowers and make sure we celebrate who she is and what she's done. And again, we haven't talked about her amazing work, so we're going to talk a little bit about Byllye Avery. Yeah. So Avery was born in Waynesville, Georgia in 1937 and eventually moved with her family to Florida. And after graduating from high school, Avery went to Talladega College in Alabama, which is the oldest historically Black college in Alabama, just FYI. And according to the New York Historical Society, Byllye loved life at Talladega. She majored in psychology and enjoyed learning. It is also where she got involved in the civil rights movement. Autherine Lucy was the first Black student to integrate in the University of Alabama in 1956. When her enrollment resulted in violent and massive student riots at the university, she sought safe harbor on the Talladega campus. And Talladega students held rallies in support of Autherine. Byllye also had the opportunity to hear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speak at her campus church.
And according to Britannica.com, Avery studied psychology at Talladega, Alabama College, and received an MA in special education from the University of Florida, 1969. She devoted herself to the education of emotionally disturbed children, first as a teacher and then as a consultant to the state of Florida. And it was in college that she met her husband, Byllye Avery. Unfortunately, her husband ended up dying at the age of 33 due to a heart attack. And according to that same Britannica article, her husband's sudden death at the age of 33 was the catalyst for Avery's commitment to improving the health of the African American community. She focused particularly on women who, like herself, had a high level of stress in their lives. Self-help groups for African American women facing poverty, crime, violence, and racism were the cornerstones of her activism.
Right. And in some of the articles, they talked about how she was so flustered after her husband's death, not realizing that there was all these things that a lot of the Black community don't know when it comes to heart disease and health in general. And she was really, really upset that she hadn't been aware, and that could have been preventative ways to save her husband as well as many of the Black people who weren't receiving the same health care. So that was something that really pushed her forward. And in 1974, after she was approached by a woman while she was working at a local hospital for help in getting access to abortion, which was and now is illegal. She and a few other women came together to help this woman by sending her to New York for care. But by the way, this woman was white and was able to financially provide for herself to go to New York. Unfortunately, after trying to assist a Black woman in the same way, this woman died from trying to self-induce an abortion after not being able to pay for the cost to travel to New York. And this tragedy became the push for Byllye to become the change that the Black community needed. According to her Wikipedia page, in response to the lack of access to abortion and other reproductive health needs that low-income Black women faced in her community, Avery and her colleagues, Joan Edelson, Judy Levy, and Margaret Parrish, opened the Gainesville Women's Health Center, GWHC, in 1974. It was the first abortion and gynecological care clinic in the city. They opened these facilities after a petition to open a Planned Parenthood clinic in Gainesville was denied. The GWHC mission statement was to, quote, help women to solve the crisis-producing situation of unplanned, unwanted pregnancies at a low cost. The clinic provided abortions and contraceptive services, facilitated sexuality workshops, and provided other women's health-related training and services tailored to Black women, such as sickle cell anemia testing.
Soon after, Avery helped start the birthplace in 1978. In the New York Historical Society article, they write, in the 1960s, it was common for women to be sedated during delivery. New mothers often woke up unaware they had given birth. Many women felt like they missed out on being aware of this important life experience. The Gainesville Women's Health Center opened a separate birth center in 1978 called Birthplace, where Byllye went to work. Byllye and her colleagues gave women more agency over their birthing experience. They hired a midwife to guide women through childbirth and decorated the building to make it feel more like a home than a hospital. Byllye assisted in over 100 births at the center.
And in 1981, Avery started a project called the Black Women's Health Project. And according to Wikipedia, as a part of this project, Avery planned the Conference of Black Women's Health Issues, which was held at Spelman College in June 1983. 2,000 women attended the 3-day event. Topics included domestic violence, diabetes, sexual abuse, obesity, sexuality, childbirth, mental health, as well as holistic wellness. It encouraged attendees to take charge of their health through consciousness raising, community organizing around health issues, and self-examination. Following the conference, Avery founded National Black Women's Health Project, now known as the Black Women's Health Imperative, officially in 1984 in Atlanta, Georgia. It is the only national organization exclusively dedicated to improving health and wellness among Black women.
And in 1990, she, with 15 others from the African American community, started the African American Women for Reproductive Freedom, which, quote, was created to end the stigma against abortions in the Black community and to make abortions more accessible for Black women. And in 2002, she founded the Avery Institute for Social Change, which helps educate the Black community on healthcare policies.
And of course, her work has gotten much needed recognition that she deserves. And I'm sure there's so many more that we're listing off, so don't come at us. But these are the few we have, including the MacArthur's Foundation Fellowship for Social Contribution, Essence Award, President's Citation of the American Public Health Association, Dorothy I. Height Lifetime Achievement Award, Ruth Bader Ginsburg Impact Award from the Chicago Foundation for Women, and the Audre Lorde Spirit of Fire Award from the Fenway Health Center. She has done a lot for reproductive health and reproductive rights. So I wonder what her thoughts are on all of this today, because it makes me very, very sad knowing that she opened up one of the first clinics in northern Florida. She had been in Jacksonville for a while trying to do a lot of healthcare stuff as well. So it makes me sad to think what she thinks now about what's happening in Florida as well as Georgia, because she was a part of the Georgia community as well. But we got to give credit. She did so much during a time where it seemed impossible to get things done, especially within the Black community, and having the rights and being able to advocate for Black women, which is still an issue today. We're sorry. But thank you so much to Byllye Avery, who has done this incredible work. And I hope that we continue to talk about all of the amazing things she does and make sure we keep her name in what she has done. That has been so advantageous and so amazing for women in general and those in the marginalized community.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listeners, if there is anyone else that we've missed that you think is a glaring omission in this segment, or just in general, if you have suggestions, you can contact us. Our email is stuffmediamomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at MomStuffPodcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I Never Told You. We have a TeePublic store and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.